Hello, everyone. This is Nicholas Hall with Graham's Foundation. I'm here with Frances Simmons. Hi, Frances.
Hi.
Hi. It's nice to connect with you. Yeah, and I appreciate we appreciate you reaching out. Um, we learned about you got to tell everyone first the name of your organization because it's very clever. Tell
Yeah,
us what it is.
it is NICU, like, and I see
Yeah, now most people, now those preemie parents go, I don't get it. What's so clever? And then ICU, that's a NICU, that's a neonatal
you.
intensive care unit. But you have it spelled out, the letter N, and then
hmm
the letter I, and then CSEE, and then YOU. So NICU. Yeah. So very creative and very clever. Now and so we want to talk obviously more about what is behind and I see you. But first, if you wouldn't mind sharing for our listeners, what's the inspiration behind
Um,
NICU?
of course, the inspiration behind NICU is built from my own experience from having a baby in the NICU for as long as she was in the
Yeah.
NICU and going through, um, you know, disassociation and mental anguish, basically, because of
Yeah.
the things that I experienced during my stay, of course, was very unique. Um, so the inspiration was to just reach moms like me and let them know
Mm,
that I see them or that they are
mm,
seen, they are
mm.
important. And just as much as the baby is important, her mental
Right.
health is
Yeah.
extremely vital for that baby
Yeah.
to come home to.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, I mean, many of the things that you just shared are consistent with what we've experienced and what we share here at Graham's Foundation that, you know,
Mhm.
for for parents, we may say, oh, our baby's a 26 weeker or a 29 weeker or a third, we'll talk about different time, we'll talk about different maybe issues or challenges that our baby had while in the neonatal intensive care unit, but every baby's journey is unique. And I also have learned that every parent's journey is
Mhm.
unique and how parents want to want and seek support is going to be quite different, So we offer different types of support services, but we know this is a team game in supporting families, and that what is going to resonate with a particular parent um, is likely going to be very unique to their background, to
Mhm.
their circumstances, to their particular situation, to
Right.
how they're wired, what works for them, what does support mean to them?
Right.
What was it for you? I like to acknowledge kind of what worked and what was helpful, and also perhaps what some of the opportunities were, in that you saw for further support. And I guess in particular, and this would also be a good time to talk about what you've created with NICU as well.
Um, so I guess with my experience, I really couldn't even tell you because I mentally was not that present. So
Mm,
I think that the care teams do the best that they can with what they have, and it's really hard because they are almost not walking on eggshells, but it's kind of hard for them because the baby is the patient, but
right.
you have the mom there who is essentially suffering and
And
mourning
the dad, let's not
pregnancy.
forget, dad might be
Yeah,
there too. Let's not forget,
yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, you're right though. The baby technically is the patient, but as we know, the baby, some of the babies, if they're intubated, you can't even hear them cry, or or even
right.
if they're not, you can barely understand and know really what they're experiencing. And so the parents we become this channel, right,
Yeah,
for what they're feeling. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
and share with if you wouldn't mind, kind of share more about, you shared it was challenging being present. Was there anything, and like you said, the staff are doing they're,
Yeah.
by
They're
and
doing the
large,
best they
they're
can.
doing the best they can, but
Yeah.
every situation is different. What in particular was what made yours particularly challenging, or if you're willing to share?
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to share my story. So my daughter, she was born at 25 weeks. I can go into details with that, but I will let you know why, I felt
Mm,
very
mm,
different. So when
mm,
she was born, um, 13 days after I had her, her dad passed away. So
mm.
that
Wow.
was extremely, it was stacked. It was something that
Yeah.
was like, okay, here's this.
Wow.
And, your baby is here, she's born,
Yeah.
and then I'm hit with, the loss of my support system.
Uh,
And on top of that, my child, she was in the NICU an hour away from me. I didn't have a car. I have two other children. I'm a single mom,
mm,
essentially,
yeah.
even more so a single mom with him being
Right.
gone.
Yeah.
So, my situation, of course, there are women like me, and that's another reason why I created this journal because the women
Yeah.
that are like me, even
Yeah.
in my demographic as well, I mean, everyone, but the women that are like me are still in survival mode. And
Yes.
they are just seeing the day that they're in, not the day ahead of
Yeah.
them. They're
Yeah.
seeing the day that they're in. So that's why it's really important to me to let them know that they're seen and that
Mm,
maybe, I can help them get to a
mm,
grounding place to be able to come out of survival mode and create
yeah.
beautiful things,
Yeah.
and be present.
I had to say, Francis, I mean, I was 20 minutes from the hospital, didn't have any other children at the time. And, while we had to deal with the loss of our son and then continue on with our daughter,
Mhm.
I can't, you know, I can't imagine what that must have been like. And yet you're in this situation, and it's like, it's sort of, I don't know about you, I don't know if it was like this for you at all, but it felt like it felt like, in the one hand, the world was standing still, where it was like there's this bubble, and then this whole other
Yeah.
world was still happening, but I didn't have, I didn't have time for it. I
No,
had to
yeah,
really focus in on what was happening with our babies. And that's, like you said, it's just it
yeah,
is literally, it's a day-to-day existence.
right, for sure. To me, it kind of felt like the world kept going.
Mm, mm,
Even when he was her father, even when he was alive, I told him, I was like, well, everyone is talking about the baby, but I'm still supposed to be pregnant. Like I'm back
right.
here, so
Yeah.
then lost him and the world just kept going. I had her on a
Yeah.
Wednesday. I had to go back to work on Monday. Like I didn't have,
Wow.
you know,
Oh my
uh,
God.
so
Well, it was an hour away because that was the closest, uh,
yeah.
closest Nick. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know
closest level
what?
four.
Yeah. And another reason why we at Grams are really focused in particular on supporting those neonatal intensive care units that are in more rural or community-based NICUs, because we know a lot of the families end up having to travel a
Hmm.
significant distance, to be able to get
Yeah,
to be able to see their baby, and that can pose obviously an incredible challenge.
yeah,
Um,
extremely.
yeah. So tell us more about what you've created to, like you said, to be able to help other parents going through this journey feel seen in a way that um, sounds like you really feel could make a difference and be empowering for them.
For sure. So the journal is, like I said, really focused on the mom. It does not have baby measurements or anything to do with the baby. The only thing to do with the baby at the end is questions she might ask her care team. I did create an entire methodology behind my company and what we do because it's super important. There was a um, nurse practitioner that was super sweet to me and saw me. And so
Yeah.
that's the standard of care that I create everything and that I'm going to
Mm.
create everything under this journal with is, and I call it the Sarah standard. Her name was Sarah. I call it the Sarah
Yeah.
standard, and it we follow the methodology of the sweetest P is what I call it, PEA, and we prioritize mental health. We empower the advocate, and then
Mm.
we acknowledge the human. So
Mm.
that right there is the framework of the
Yeah.
entire thing that I'm building here because
Yeah.
those are the most important things to me, anyways, from my
Yeah.
experience. Um,
And when NICU is and with what you've developed, as I understand it, it's like a journaling type companion to accompany the
yes,
mother through her
yep,
journey. And is it specifically while in the neonatal intensive care unit or
yes. This one
yeah.
is specifically during the NICU. Now she can use it afterwards. I mean, I feel like it's interchangeable. You could use it
Yeah.
afterwards,
Yeah.
but the design of it is
Mhm.
to for her to be handed it,
Yeah.
sometime during the stay so that
Yeah.
she feels seen, even if it's just 1% of,
Right.
the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so does the mother interact with the journal um, directly? Would there be any expectation that they would interact with you or other parents? It's intended to be like the
It's
full solution is
Yeah,
in the
it's
journal.
just for her. There's
Yeah.
nothing about me. She wouldn't even know who
Yeah.
I was or
Yeah.
anything like that. I purposely removed anything about
Yeah.
my story in order to
Mm.
be trauma informed and
Yeah.
reduce triggering. Even
Right.
the colors are very muted because of
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
I was this during creating this, I actually really learned how to embody the word intentional. And
Mm.
I was extremely intentional with every word that I put in that
Mm.
journal. It's very open ended. She won't
Mm.
feel obligated to use it. There's no fake,
Yeah.
oh, you're doing great, wonderful
Right.
day, blah, blah, blah. How's baby
Yeah.
today? No, there's none of that because that
Yeah.
was triggering for me. They handed me
Mm.
a journal that was, I'm appreciative, of course, because, they're
Yeah.
only doing what they can or what they know.
Yeah.
Um, because a lot of times as moms we don't get to a point where I'm at where we can create something like this. But
Yeah.
so I was handed one that had to do with baby measurements. It's bright purple, flowers all on it. I just remember feeling like I don't want this. I don't know what I'm gonna do
Well,
with this.
and I
But
think I mean that's a perfect example where for another parent that may be perfectly fine.
yeah,
They may
yeah,
have absolutely
exactly,
no, yes,
exactly.
you just don't know. Is there anything I'm curious, anything with your individual background and what you've studied or experienced or your work life or your personal interests that lended um, that was influential in the creation of this journal?
Just me being an extremely emotionally
Yeah.
intelligent individual.
Yeah. A high
um,
emotional IQ,
Yeah,
as they say.
extremely
Yeah.
high. Yep. I will have to, I have ran from that for a long time, but now I'm
Mm.
going to own it because this is
Right.
where I'm at in
Yeah.
my life. And I'm
Mhm.
extremely emotionally intelligent. And with my relationships, friendships, my children, I strive to be the best person I can and to see them, and so I know that I was the person for this. So that's where it came from. My background is in insurance sales, cosmetology, all
Yeah.
relationship things, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just I was built this way.
Yeah, there's you have a particular you and I like we have a particular agency in that we've
hmm
had this unique, it's a unique experience. I mean,
hmm
you add up all the numbers of parents that go through it, there's a lot, but relative to all the new parents, it's pretty small. Fortunately. I'm where in terms of where are you in development? Are the journals finished? Are you reaching out? Is the idea that hospitals would acquire them? Or kind of where are you from an organizational standpoint?
So, this is the most interesting part. The journals are finished. They are ready to be distributed to hospitals. I kind of took a leap of faith on that. I started outreach on March 23rd, and responses. I received response from a top 10 hospital within 3 hours of sending a cold email to a web form. And the next week, they requested 100 copies of the journal. The only feedback they said was they wanted in different languages. So
Oh,
that
is it English only right now?
it's English only right now. Just because of where I'm at, I'm one
Yeah.
person. I'm one person. I've built the back end of everything. I've handled everything legal.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. So there's a high demand for the journal. I actually had to pause outreach and try to start to look for, that funding to help us get into the hospitals. My vision is that, you know, every mom in the NICU nationwide will be handed this journal as soon as their child is admitted to the NICU. But yeah, I met a very high demand. I have five hospitals, three of them are top 10 hospitals. Uh, Another one that's in around the top 20, top 30, they sent it to their clinical psychologist. So I have a clinical psychologist reviewing
Nice.
it. Right.
Yeah.
So um,
It's probably good to it's actually good to I think it's good to be able to get that kind of review and feedback before,
mhm.
frankly, getting thousands made and then
Exactly.
somebody finds some
Exactly.
error that you missed and
Yeah.
it's like,
Like,
or
oh, yeah. So
or
that's why
maybe
I did
yeah.
halt it because I am
Yeah.
looking for the feedback. But like I said, I haven't had any type of
Yeah, it's exciting.
yeah, it really is. I had one hospital say, when you can get these in large quantities, then come back and let us know. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm just
Nice.
like, yeah, so that's where I'm at. It's extremely exciting. The turnaround in it was unheard of. You know, my success rate it's been blowing my mind just off of cold emails. That
Yeah.
shows you that I hit a pain point in a good way.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's really exciting. You know what we've forgotten this whole time we've been talking?
Oh,
And we forgot to talk about your baby that was in the
oh
NICU.
yeah, of course. Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, I can go ahead and just start from the beginning of how
Well, just
she wound
it's
up
a
in the
she.
or
What's her
just
name?
yeah. Her name is Clover. Her name is
Clover.
Clover Joe.
And
Yes.
how old is Clover now?
She's three. She's three.
3. Okay,
Yep.
so it wasn't that long ago.
No, not that long at
No,
all.
it was about 3 years after Reese and Graham were born that I started Graham
Really?
Foundation.
Oh
So,
wow.
I think you were even more eager and anxious than me, I think. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
ex
that's a good
that's
sign to hear. I'm kind of where you
yeah.
were at the same
Well,
time.
I think, we need time to also process
Hmm.
everything that that we're going through. And as we also know, the journey doesn't end when you come home.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, all the responsibilities on you, and there's
Yeah.
oftentimes more follow-up and more, again, depending on the how your baby's developing, will
Yeah.
determine, how much additional support they may or may not need. So
For sure. For sure.
that's great. So well, we're excited that you reached out to us here as well. We're excited to share with our parent community about NICU, and also want to be able to see if there's ways that we can potentially collaborate going forward. We're always reaching out to a lot of those
Yeah.
neonatal intensive care units as well. And I know that we're going to be doing a giveaway of one of your journals for one of our parents, and we're excited to be able to do that as well. Um, Before we start to wrap things up, is there anything so far, I guess, is there anything that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet that you'd like to make sure that we talk about before we
Um,
end
I
this
think
call?
I did. I really didn't spend enough time on Clover. I like to just highlight her really quick because
Yeah,
she's
please do. Please do.
phenomenal. How she's doing. So she was born at 25 weeks. She weighed 1 pound and what was it, 43 ounces, which is interesting because she stayed in NICU for 143 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and when she came home, she only needed, well, not only, but she needed oxygen and a feeding tube that got removed pretty
Oh,
soon
that's
after
good.
she was home.
Oh,
Both of
good.
them. I honestly think it was just me being like super glued to her that
Hmm.
helped her that helped her get through. But yeah, she has no issues now. She's just running around and
Mm.
is she's one of a kind for sure, just like a
Yeah.
clover, four-leaf clover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
so I know I didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about her, but that's why the NICU logo is a four-leaf clover, and the L
Yeah.
is for her dad's name.
There you go.
She's grown from his stem, and he's still
Yeah.
our our anchor, holding us
Mm.
down and helping us push forward, and then helping
Mm.
me help these moms. She is a
Mm.
huge inspiration. Um, so yeah,
Well, that's beautiful. Well,
thank you.
I'm glad you're able to include that. Yeah,
Yes.
we've got in our Grams Foundation, there's a little balloon and a little number 45 that some people notice, and that's Graham lived for 45 days. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so
Yes. That,
it's nice to be able to have opportunities to be able to create those symbols, to be able to continue for us to be able to continue to remember those
yeah.
special moments, special people in our
And
life.
special people. Yep. I was just
Yeah,
gonna say special people. Yep.
yeah. Well, Francis, again, thanks for reaching out. It was a
No
real,
problem.
yeah, and it's been a real delight talking with you, and of course, wish you and NICU all the success. And I know I I can I imagine, I don't know, I've always said, with Graham's Foundation, it's we can't fail. We can't
Yeah.
fail at trying to help other parents, in
Yeah.
helping them going through what we're going through. So it's not wishing you success, it's just wishing you, continuing, just pursuing your passion,
For sure.
continuing to do that good work that I know will make a difference for other moms.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. And thank you for what you're doing. Uh,
absolutely.
it's amazing. So thank you.
You bet.